Hello, and welcome to Spoiler Alert, where I tell you how something was that isn't yet. This week, we're taking a look at Captain America Civil War, the latest movie this year to bring an age-old comic book question to the silver screen. Who would win in a fight? Of course, most movies that do this don't name the film after one of the characters because that labels the other one the bad guy. But by making this a Captain America film, we have finally officially labeled Tony Stark the deterrent to the Avengers that we already knew he was. That's not to say it's a sure sign that Cap is gonna win though. In the comics, his side loses and Congress passes a law that regulates superheroes. Captain America of course opposed this because what's more American than hating Congress? Even though the president eventually repealed that law because evidently that's a thing the writers think presidents can do, it took a long time and Captain America got killed along the way. Oh, don't worry, he got better because comic books treat death the way most people treat a rest stop on the New Jersey Turnpike. You only deal with it if you have to, and you never stay for very long. The Marvel Cinematic Universe, though, is very different from the comic books, and while there are laws passed in this movie restricting the Avengers, the main powder keg of the conflict is deciding what to do with Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier. His memory is still spotty, but even he remembers enough to realize that his backstory is nowhere near believable enough to be admissible in court. I mean, out of the billions of people in the world, Hydra just happened to choose Bucky to turn into a super soldier? Think what the odds of that are for a second, and also realize that someone at Hydra had to say, no, let's not use one of our highly trained Hydra soldiers, let's instead use the guy we're gonna have to brainwash more often than Tuxedo Mask, will betray us the second he sees some stars and stripes and gets flashbacks to his best friend's pajamas. But given that Bucky did kill a lot of people as the Winter Soldier, the powers that be want him to face the consequences of his cryogenically frozen Hydra-induced actions. Cap obviously sides with Bucky because who else is he gonna find who relates to being frozen for most of the century, and Iron Man goes against them because traditionally rich superheroes who have no superpowers but have a lot of resources don't take kindly to the individual who killed their parents. Unfortunately, since Steve and Tony's mothers weren't both named Martha, they tragically find they can't relate to each other, and end up bringing in the other Avengers to fight with them. So, without further ado, let's meet our contenders! On Cap's side, we've got Bucky, but we've also got the Falcon to prove that this team can be diverse to bird Americans, the Scarlet Witch, who still has pent-up anger against Tony, Ant-Man, always looking out for the little guy, and Hawkeye, who's just glad to be included in one of these movies. Then on Iron Man's side, we've got the Vision, because evidently he's a daddy's boy. War Machine, because Tony has remote controls for the suit anyway. Black Widow, because she's not over the fact that Bucky shot her. Another new Spider-Man, and the first appearance of the new Black Panther. No, not that one. There we go. Oh, and if you're wondering where Thor and the Hulk are, they're off doing their own thing and ignoring all this political bullshit. Yes, they have both bonded over their mutual love of hitting things, and Thor can literally show the Hulk a whole new world of things to hit that, you know, aren't him. So you might be asking, who wins? To which I ask, does it matter? We know that there are a ton of Marvel movies in the pipeline, and sooner or later this conflict won't matter because everyone will be squaring off against the giant purple people eater. The real interesting question isn't who wins the fight in the superhero movie, it's which superhero fight movie wins against the other superhero movies. By all accounts, this film has already beaten the train wreck that is Superman vs. Batman without even coming out, but that's not particularly hard. All you have to do to beat that movie is film your movie in color. But we've also got X-Men Apocalypse on the way, where famous heroes like Angel, Storm, and Psylocke will do battle against the other X-Men, and that actually looks really good, and quite a bit more stylistic than Civil War, which looks like they just showed up at a random airport one day and started blowing things up on camera. So what does Civil War have to do to win the Battle of the Big Screen Brawls? Well, I can't say for certain, but if it wants to win the female audience, I think we all know what must be done. So that's it for Spoiler Alert. I'm gonna have to take a break from this because I'm getting really busy. I hope to tune in a few times and tell you what I think other upcoming movies will be like, but this might be our last episode, so thanks for watching. And until whenever, don't say I didn't warn you.